Well, very good morning everybody, and welcome along to the coverage of the 2023 Pirelli Welsh Rally Championship. We are here on the Plains Rally in a lovely bit of stage, in a lovely bit of weather. Not much better than this, is there? We are in stage 1, which is Alwyn, and we are just awaiting the first of our cars to come into view. We know they've left the start line, so there's about, let's see, 2 miles drive from the start to where we are, something like that. We're about 2/3 of the way into the stage. Quite tricky through the trees, quite fast and technical at times, and then it opens up here onto a lovely little open section, which is ideal for our satellite, and allows us to bring you the live action. And yeah, it should be good. We're expecting first car on the road to be number 93, which is Graham Stott and Matthew Baddeley in the Mini Cooper. It's reverse seeding today. It slowest of the 2-wheel drives first, all the way up to the quickest of the boys before we turn our attentions to the 4-wheel drives. There'll be a slight pause in proceedings, and then 4-wheel drives will be arriving with us just after that. So, Graham Stott and Matthew Baddeley in their Mini Cooper. First through for us, steady away. Got a much quicker approach from car 92. Looks like John Day and Ian Harden in their Mini R50. Yeah, there we go, a much quicker approach, and that's the result of a much quicker approach. This is a corner that caught people out last year, and we are only 2 cars in, and we have John Day and Ian Harden rolling their Mini R50 in quite spectacular fashion. Hopefully the crew are okay. Spectators are on hand to get this car out and sorted. We'll make sure the marshals are slowing cars down. Marshals en route and slowing the cars out at the top of the hill. So, not what we were wanting to see this morning. Let's see if we can get this car out and away. The car's back on its wheels. We know this section of stage was trouble for people last year, so let's just make sure everyone's safe here. Get the marshals slowing the cars down on approach. Next up for us, car 91. This is Andrew Watson and Emma Cooper in their Mini Cooper. So we have a team of Mini Coopers coming through, or a gaggle of Mini Coopers coming through this morning, all part of the Mini Challenge. Getting through no problems. Championship registered crew, or certainly the co-driver, Emma Cooper. So while we wait for our next competitor, and these marshals and spectators help this car out the ditch, I'm just going to give a quick shout out to a couple of things. So Pirelli, first of all, our main sponsors for the Welsh Championship, and they have been for 10 years now, so a massive thank you to Pirelli for sponsoring this Welsh Championship. We also have support from On the Pace Note, and they're here to support the under-23 drivers and co-drivers, with Craig Parry lending his hand and full support to anybody using the On the Pace Note system. Restruct, they're sponsoring the historic classes from W5 up to W9, and a variety of classes there. Harry Hockley, they're supporting the 2-wheel drive category cars that are non-historic, anything from class 2 all the way up to the 1400s. Witham Group, they're offering 3 £50 vouchers per event for the winners of each of the categories for the 2-wheel drives, the 4-wheel drives and the historic classes, and they can spend those vouchers on any of the Witham's products, oil, paint, etc. So that's a little shout out to our sponsors. So massive thank you to those guys. Car number 89, Wesley Guildford and Julia Perry. Again, another one of the minis. I was talking to Julia early in the week. Out on an event tomorrow, a scenic tour around Wales tomorrow, and her parents are doing the event. So nice to see those guys out. Hopefully the weather stays like this for us. It'll be certainly nice and scenic around Wales tomorrow if this is the weather forecast. So Marshall's doing a good job slowing the cars down up the top of the hill. Next to the minis into a view for us then, it looks like it's going to be 88, John Clayton and Christian Brown. Certainly is. Dust being a big factor today. It's not too bad here where there's a bit of breeze, but I imagine getting into the trees it'll be tricky in them trees with the dust hanging. No breeze really in there. Still working on this Mini, trying to get it back out of this ditch. Obviously we saw it go over at least once. I think, was it twice did it go over? Just one full roll. Managed to get it back on the wheels. Spectators trying to drag it out over the undergrowth. You can see it's been a newly felled or recently felled section of stage this, and trying to get this Mini across this scrubland is causing a few issues. Next up then, car 87, that's Keith Bounds, Kevin Watkins, Cooper S, running in the W12 category. Slightly different to a lot of the cars around him, all running in the W10. But still a Mini Cooper nonetheless. Proving to be stuck quite well, this Mini. So big shout out to the people watching. Neil Roscoe's watching, Chris Williams, Steve Merry, Kirk Davies, Ana Alves. Morning from Figueiro da Foz in Portugal. Morning, Anna. Thank you for joining us. Robert Leith, George Green, Kirsten Driver up in Scotland, Colin Smith up in Scotland, Simon Bentley is watching as well, Phil Roberts, Kevin Massey, welcome along to you all. Jacob Neal, Russell Thompson, Mini Cooper R50, back to the W10 class. So we're looking at around about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or so more Minis, and then we turn our attention away from the Minis into all sorts of varieties of cars. Well, you can see they've managed to get the stricken car 92 of John Day and Ina Harden out of the ditch, and they're just going to try and work this car up the road as far as it'll go. I'm not sure it'll go much further than that at the minute. It might need a push up the hill, guys, to this location, but we'll see. Next up should be Guy Butler. This is another Mini Cooper S. You can hear that. The whine from the engine, that's the supercharger on these little Minis. Jamie McTavish has joined us. Morning, Jamie. I hope you're well after yesterday. Hope you're okay. Your knee isn't too sore. And that is the battered and bruised John Day. The looks of it retiring his car up on the escape road up here. Well, it's good to see that the crew are okay. Ian's walking up the stage afterwards, making his way towards us anyway up the stage. Sideways for the next of the Minis, this should be Phil Sawyer, Harry Walshaw, car 84. Kevin Morgan, good morning. Thanks for the coverage once again. Best of luck to Simon Rogers and James Giddings in their Evos. Yeah, we'll get to those guys later on. Thank you, Kevin, for joining us. Steve Simpson's watching. Welcome, Steve. Liam Whiteley, probably over on the Isle of Man as well. Welcome along, Liam. Thanks for joining us. You had a good time last weekend. Weather on your island was pretty perfect. Sort of like today, I imagine. Simon Drury, morning, Phil. Good morning from West Wales. Stephen Merry's watching with the tack change, boys. You shouldn't really be advertising that, I don't think. Pretty sure you should be sorting the tack change out for us. Do me a good job, mate, please. Make sure there's a fair amount of work in my team, won't you? Keep up the good work, boys. Thank you very much. I know where I'd rather be. Colin Smith, morning, Phil. Morning, Colin. Nice to hear from you. John Patterson is along as well from the Isle of Mull. Paul Charlton, yeah, 2 cars in, Paul in the ditch. Luckily, doesn't seem to be too much damage. So, hope they'll get out and continue. Yeah, I'm not sure they will be continuing too much, to be fair. There's a lot of smoke and a bit of whining from the engine. We'll see. Well done to the marshals and spectators. I think they're going to have their work cut out, aren't they, today? I really do feel like they're going to have their work cut out. Wee, sideways round the corner. This is going to be a tester today. Car 82, Gordon Davies, Jack Morris alongside. Should be expecting our last of the minis. Mick Smith and Paul Michael Stringer up next in their W12 category car. Car 81, that's the last of the minis by the looks of it. Mark Young is watching on holiday in Morocco, much to his wife's annoyance. Don't be getting told off. Having to spend your last of your holiday in Morocco not speaking to the wife, that's not ideal. Morning from Buckinghamshire, as usual, fantastic work by the marshals. Certainly was, yeah. Kept everyone safe, ensured the cars were slowed down. There we go, Mick Smith, Paul Michael Stringer. That should be the last of our minis. A good field of minis out today. A positive year for the Mini Championship. So yeah, just comments about the scene. So yeah, we're expecting the cars through in reverse seeding today. So we're working away from car 93 down to car 1, and then we will turn our attentions to the 4-wheel drives. A short pause in proceedings, about 5 minutes where we'll cut the transmission and with the live footage of the 4-wheel drive section of the event. So stay tuned, special stage. Fiesta time. This is Sam Mason, James Seymour in their Fiesta. It's the first event this year for the crew. Championship registered. So good to see them boys getting to grips with that car nice and early on. It's only 2 miles into the event and already we've got the crew pushing on well, so that's good. Straight back into the action for them and yeah, nice to see. So confirmation from fellow special stage cameraman Jamie that he's feeling a lot better today. He had a troubled day yesterday up a mountain by the sounds of it with a poorly knee, so he's struggled back to his car late last night and managed to get everything sorted and feeling better today, which is great to hear. So yeah, reverse seeding today. We will expect to see the cars getting quicker and quicker throughout the field as the more and more cars approach us. Not as fast as usual, but Matt Edwards is going up the stage. We're used to seeing him in a car, but today he's on 2 legs. John Cotton and Jill Cotton in the MGZR, car number 78. Matt's out spectating today with his family. Brought the kiddies along with him. And no doubt they'll be having a nice time watching the event. Picked a good spot for it anyway. First the rear wheel drives. This is the Mark 1 Escort. I'm expecting a Mark 2, so we've got one missing somewhere. Car 76 then, Freddie Camp, Stephen Spear. May have just leapfrogged Alan Young at the minute. We'll see if Alan and Ashley arrive in their Mark 2. But yeah, at the minute, Freddie Camp and Stephen Spear going well in that Mark 1. Lovely looking car. The crew of John Daney and Harden still working away on this Mini up here, seeing if they can do anything to get this car back up and running on the road. And it's a shame to lose them so early on into the event. In fact, Mr. Edwards is lending a hand, changing tyres and servicing for him at the side of the stage. What a guy! Well, we can't see that on the camera, can we? It's probably just out of shot, actually, above the plantation. Matt's running around the car with a wheel in hand, and he's jacking the car up, and what a guy, helping out. That's what we need from this sport. Lots of friendly rivalry. If someone has a problem, there's always someone to help out. Well done, Matt. Thank you very much. I'm sure the crew will be pleased to see you. Alan and Ash in car 77 were looking for a new engine last week, so not sure whether they've managed to get one sorted, Phil. Thank you for that, Tom. That's a shame if they haven't managed to get one. Yeah, okay, we'll keep an eye out, see if they've managed to get anything sorted. Be a real shame if they haven't. Sure, we'll get to find out shortly if we don't see them. Well, we do have a Mark II Escort. Next interview for us. Sideways in the sun. Car 75. Another of the Pirelli Welsh crews. Peter Jones, Gareth Davies in their Mark II. Had a DNF on the last round, so it's important for those guys to finish and get a score on the board this weekend. Scott Morris is watching. Good morning from Junction 4, Alwyn North. Are we in Alwyn North or South here? South we are, okay. I wasn't sure if you were the next junction along, Scott. You're over the other side of the reservoir, just behind us over this hill. Thank you for getting in touch. And the cars won't be far off you guys now. One crew you won't be seeing just yet is the crew of John Dayton and Ian Harden after their roll here. Next up then, Fleet Smart sponsored Civic of Gary Whitney and Carl Keating. Good looking car, that. Don't tend to see too many Civics on gravel setup. Tend to be more suited to the tarmac and the lanes, but yeah, pedalling it along nicely. Next up, we're looking towards Lynn Davies, Alan Richards in the Escort Mark II. Currently lying third in class in the championship, and always a consistent crew. Always drive to their means. And I say that now. You watch. Keep it on the road, boys. Dance in the Escort round. It's so loose on that corner. So loose. There we go, Lynn Davies, Alan Richards. Claire Wilkinson, has Bob and Dale Gibbons gone through yet in their Mark 1? They haven't gone through just yet. Claire, you are joining us just in time. They are. Have a quick look, if I can, at the entry list. I'll give you an idea of where they're going to be. Are they here this weekend? Oh, there we go. Car 30. Yeah, so you've got a little bit of time yet. You've got about 40 minutes before we see Dale and Bob. One crew that'll be wanting to get to the end of this event, Jeremy Wells and Martin Saunders, after building that car. Took 3 years to build that Mark 1. A lot of blood, sweat and tears are going into building that car, so Jeremy will be making sure that that stays shiny side up. Jeremy is registered for the Welsh Championship. But, a lot of crews registered this weekend, which is great to see. Next up should be Adam Clues with Mark Thomas in their Fiesta R2. These guys are desperate for a finish as well after they didn't finish Rally North Wales. So they're wanting a solid result this weekend. Just getting it crossed up and almost losing it on the inside, actually. Something we often see with front-wheel drive cars. But managing to keep going. Sticking to the plan of getting to the end. That was Adam Clues, Mark Thomas, and the Fiesta R2. Dust creating its own cloud for us here, a bit of shade. For I was sunburnt on the Manx last weekend, it's nice to have a little bit of shade now. I have a feeling that by the end of today, I may be sunburnt again. The Purple Moose car, sideways into view before it even gets to this bend. Keep the foot in. Nicely done, nicely done. Car number 70, Jonathan Wally and Peter Dennis in their Mark II. I've seen that car many a time. Purple Moose Brewery sponsored Mark II Escort. Next up for us should be Julian Burley and Emil Hall in their Sunbeam TI. Nice to see a Sunbeam out. And it's a local event for Julian, this. Should go well here. Always pedals his car well, so keep your eye on him coming into view now. Oh, little kinks, just throwing the cars out wide. Get it settled. Plumes of dust look fantastic, don't they, coming out from the back end of the cars. These rear-wheel drive cars kicking out. Excellent to see. As Matt makes his way back down to join the family, the Mini looks to be just about set to go again. Are we good to go, Matt?
Yeah, just changed the oil.
Brilliant. Great to hear. The crew in the Mini fire the engine back up again. Everything looks like it's just about sorted, so they'll get on their way. Obviously, they'll have lost a lot of time, but it saves them sitting in the stage here. They can get out and hopefully get a few more stages under their belt today. So great work from the spectators, the marshals, and also Matt helping sort that car out. Hopefully, they'll be back underway very, very shortly. The familiar colour scheme with the light blue wheels on the RS 1800. Andrew Hill, Matthew Fowle, pedalling nicely. First of our D5 competitors. I should really get to know what these categories are, shouldn't I? You tell me anyway. I have to find out. I'll give you more information on those categories when we when we come back after the break. So next up should be Gareth Edwards. I've got no co-driver and no car for Gareth, so I don't know. Could be a surprise this for us all. Let's see what appears into view. It's a Mark II Escort. Flicking it through the bends. Is it Carol Tomlinson on the notes this weekend? There's a C Tomlinson. I'm trying to remember Tomlinsons that I've seen on cars before.
Just have to try and sort the camera out when it films. It's freezing up a bit. We're still live, but the camera's freezing.
Oh, we have camera. It's all gone jumpy. Bear with us 1 minute while we figure something out. Tell you what, we have got a lot of midges. Midges everywhere. It's actually better when the dust's around because we seem to have less midges. But, next up, a little Micra. Getting Price and Stevie Brown. Okay, the Mini is on its way, which is great to hear. So we're just going to turn the camera off for 1 second and we're going to try and get this camera back up and running again. I don't know why it's lagging. That's Kelvin Evans, Ivan Rowlands in their W2 Micra. And then next up should be Alan Dubois, Pete Littlefield in their 306 Peugeot rear-wheel drive. A car they've been campaigning for years and years and years. So it's a regular here on Special Stage. Look forward to seeing them next. That's car 64. So hopefully the video is back up and running again now for you. Hopefully everything's back. Better. Hopefully it's okay now. Yeah, well, fingers crossed. So here is that Peugeot. Hanging the back end into the undergrowth on the outside of the bend. No problems there for Alan. Like I say, I've been campaigning that car now for many years. So next up, Tim Phelps and Richard Elwin Manuel. They will be here with us very shortly in their Escort. They're currently running third in the W12 class amongst a sandwich, let's say, a sandwich of BMWs. Lime green Escort. That little right-hand flick just before they get to our bend here is just enough to throw the car slightly out. It's a very loose surface, I must admit. I was saying before at the start of the stream that the sort of almost 2 miles that they drive to get to us is quite rough going. It's not been resurfaced, I don't think, since the last event here. So it's quite an abrasive surface all the way until they get to this point here where they turn across this open section, and and maybe with the forestry trucks or machinery that's been in this section of the forest felling the area, they've resurfaced this section with quite a fine gravel top, and it's very loose as the so next up, speeding interview. Mark 1 Escort, Paul Rawson, Mike Curry. You have to get that car stopped, boys. Oh, and they just about manage it. It's providing us some excitement anyway. You wouldn't want to be much wider than that, would you? Fair play. Paul Rawson, Mike Curry in that Mark 1 Escort, pedalling it well. Next up, another Ford, but this time the front-wheel drive version of a Fiesta. Running the W4 class, this should be Roger Nevitt and Mike Smith in car 61. So this event, this weekend, is organised and run by Knutsford and District Motor Club. You have to give the guys up there a big shout out for putting on a cracking event, and I'm not biased at all. That's my motor club as well, so big thank you to everybody there. It's a great job. It takes a lot of manpower and man hours to run an event, and Knutsford do a cracking job of the planes every year. We've had lots of fun over the years on this event with the guys at Knutsford Motor Club, so a big shout out to everybody there who's worked hard all week, setting the stages up, seeing posts and images throughout the week of the setup crews being out in the stages all week, setting things up and organising the bales for the chicanes and all the signage and everything that goes around the stages. It's no mean feat, so well done everybody. So you just saw Roger Nevitt, Mike Smith in their Fiesta. Back in time now to another Escort. This is the Mark 1. That's Graham Palmer, Mike Webb. Graham is a Pirelli Welsh Championship runner. Needs a clean run this weekend, he says in his comments. Here just to make sure he gets to the end and has a decent run. So next up is a chap who we've commented on before a few times, James Larmony. Started rallying I think last year and was competing in the Mini last year. He's moved into a Fiesta R2 now by the looks of things, and it was someone we noticed last year really knew how to pedal his little Mini when he was out in that. So let's see how James gets on in this Fiesta. Certainly pushing hard now. Yep, trying hard. James Larmony, Rich Jones alongside. Not much more road to use there. That was as much as you'd be wanting to use. So just a big shout out to everyone who's watching us this morning on the live streams. Thank you for joining us. You can hear a cuckoo in the distance. It's a nice sound to hear as the dust drifts by. If you want to get in touch or you want to get involved, I've got the live stream open. I'll try my best to chat to people as the day continues. Just have a quick look to see if I can get any results. I'm not sure whether anything will be through just yet. It'll be in a short stage. It might be the next stage that they go for. Lovely looking Cortina. This is the Lotus Cortina of McMillan, Trevor Roberts and Don James. Nice to see one of those out. to the results. Nothing through on the results just yet by the look of it. So we'll leave the results for a minute. It might be a couple of stages before we start seeing some things through. Mark 2 Escort time again. Doing well, car number 57. Alan Lloyd Jones, Sean Williams, in that D5 category. Escort. I said before, we don't tend to see too many Civics. Well, guess what? Is that commentator's curse? We have another Civic on its way. This time belonging to Martin Walters and Marie Fletcher. They've been a fantastic support for the championship over the years and are leading Class W10 in their motor. We'll see them blast into view very shortly. Widey, widey, wide. But all good. Car 56 then. Martin Walters and Marie Fletcher trying to ensure that they keep that lead in the class. Thank you, Neil. Neil Henderson has sent me a message. I'll get round to that in the next run. Neil, I'll mention that. I'll keep it quiet for now, but that's good to know. That's an impressive amount of time rallying together. That. Thank you very much. I will, yeah, like I say, I will bring everybody that information on the next stage, which will be live around about lunchtime-ish here. We're going to be at a similar location. There's not too many places in this stage we can go live, so we'll bring you a different angle from a similar-ish spot. Let's see if we can catch the cars coming into view from the top of the hill. Peter Hinton, Lewis Sim should be next up for us, car 55. Sweet sounding Mark 2 Escort. Nothing showing on the results sheet. Okay, not to worry, we'll keep an eye on them. As sideways into view and sideways round our bend goes car 54, David Jones, Glyn Price in their BMW E30. 101 events in this car. For the crew, it's been around a bit. This BMW has. It's a fine example of clubman rallying at its best, I would say. Campaigning that car for a long period of time. So next up, another of the Welsh competitors. We've got lots of Welsh crews out this weekend, all registered for the Pirelli Welsh Championship. All trying to take a share of the prizes on offer from all the sponsors. We should be seeing Mark Tugwell and Deborah Tugwell. Mark 1 Escort. Let's see. Perfectly done. Another crew looking for a finish this weekend. The DNF on Rally North Wales. So important to get some scores on the boards. In the Mark 1 through stages. This is something you don't see every day. It's a lovely car, this. We always love to see this car out and about. Ian Beveridge, Paul Price in the Corolla TE27. I reckon it's one of my favourite cars of the event anyway. Love seeing something different, and this is certainly one of those cars that's just something you don't see every day. So, a bit like the Alpha Scud as well, we don't see too many of them, so nice to have something a bit different. There we go then. Ian Beveridge always pushes hard in that little Corolla. Great to see. Another car I like to see on the stages. Don't see too many of these rallying on gravel anymore. But, in fact, you don't tend to see too many of these rallying anywhere anymore. But there are still some knocking about. Next up, we should see car 51 of Gareth Hooper and Lewis Hooper. Team in their W11 category Manta. Fantastic sight, isn't it? Look at that. Looking good, boys. Am I right in thinking that's Lewis Hooper, Micro Lewis Hooper?
Yeah.
I thought it was. I just wanted to double check before I made a fool of myself. So yeah, we usually see Lewis out on these gravel rallies in the little Micro. Always pushes really hard. In fact, he had an off, didn't he? That's probably why he's not here. He had an off on the Border Counties just after us last time.
I think his dad does the driving in that on the Welsh event. So.
Okay. I know the Micro was poorly bad after it had been stuffed into a ditch up on the Border Counties. Rear-wheel drive Astra. This looks smart. Might have a new contender for car of the event for me so far. Steve Magson. We've got a variety of cars of Steve, with Steve Bealby alongside, but that certainly looks stunning in the famous colour scheme along the doors. Great to see an Astra rear-wheel drive out as well. So let's have a little flick further into the entry and see what we've got coming through. Okay. Can't see the Alpha on the entry list. Mark 1 Escort, Cinch sponsored. Philip Harris, Derek Davies. Lovely clean looking car, that one. Pushing hard, but safe as well. No heroics around this this tricky right-hander. It looks nothing driving into it as well. I must admit, we drove the stage earlier on, and other than the surface change going from the sort of the abrasive, sort of quite rough section before it, you come into this lovely smooth gravel, and it looks nothing. And it's like almost like a passing lay-by, just on the sort of outskirts of the corner, just where it widens, and then just on the sort of end of the corner, it just nips back in again, and it's just catching people out. You can see people just getting a little bit wide. Obviously, the Mini we had in the ditch. Just getting away with it as I'm talking about people who aren't getting away with it. That's Alex Cannon, Alan Carfrey in the Fiesta R2. I think they just managed to get away with that. It didn't sound like a puncher. It sounded like they just managed to take victory over the edges of the road there. Second time out this year, and currently running second in class in that Fiesta R2. That would have been all changed for them if it had gone all south from there, but luckily managed to pull the car through and keep it on the road. We've got a bank of photographers down here in front of us. You can probably see them on the live stream, and yeah, some interesting photographs coming from this team of photographers down here. Next up then, the Mark II Escort. Mike Reed, John Millington. And the Reed Group sponsored Mark II RS 2000. John's sat in with lots of people over the years. Sitting in with Malcolm Wilson on the Roger Albert Clark rally many years ago. Competed all around the UK. An event that we're all going to be looking forward to towards the end of the year as well, this year. So looking forward to be out on that event. Another man who's no stranger to the co-driver's seat. This is Mr. Phil Sandham. He's navigating for Steve Corky Ward this weekend. RS 1800 version of the Mark II Escort. Pedalling it well. Danchester's Paul Barbett up next in the BMW E30. We mentioned before about W12 class having a BMW sandwich with the Escort in the middle. This is Dan Chester's in his BMW, and he's currently leading, well, it says leading W10 class, but he's registered for the W12 class. That's confused me. Okay, we'll see. Lovely looking colour scheme on this BMW. Nicely balanced. Just a little blip on the accelerator to bring that car back straight again. Well done, Dan. Sounds stunning as well, doesn't it? Nice and smooth engine note. So plenty of people getting in touch. I'll give some shout outs. Let's have a look, see who we've got. Luke Leonard's watching, Tony Wilkinson's watching, Claire Wilkinson's watching, Marty Booth's watching from the Isle of Man, Mike Sage Cooper is watching from Valencia, Tim Bevan is watching, Colin Price is watching from Rimini, Kevin Massey watching from the not so sunny Aberdeenshire. That's a shame, I was hoping the whole country would be in sunshine today. Colin Price close on there for the R2, certainly was, wasn't it? Trying hard on the outside of that bend, just getting a makeover. No such troubles for car 44 though, Dave Forrest and Jamie Forrest. And their Mark II Escort. Spencer Price is watching from Alcudia, gutted not to be there. Well, sometimes you have to make these sacrifices. You can't always be at a rally, sometimes you have to be in Spanish seaside resorts. Must be awful. Mind you, the weather we've got here, haven't quite got the water, but we're not far off Spanish seaside resort.
There's a puddle.
There's a murky pond behind us. I fancy taking a dip in that, if I'm honest with you. Morning to Jonathan Mounsey, tuning in. Welcome along, Jonathan. Thank you for watching Special Stage. We're now down into the last sort of 45 cars, top 45 cars of the two-wheel drive class. So things will certainly start heating up from here as we work our way towards the top end of the field. Pause in proceedings, just allowing the dust to blow over. dust, there's no midges, so we were happy with that. It's getting eaten alive this morning. So, Mark II Escort time again. We've already seen one in this colour scheme, so this is the second one through. The old Ford colours. Car 42. That's Will Graham and Karen Graham. So we're missing a Steve Benton and Ben Walsh in there, Mark II. That was Will and Karen. Running in the G2 class. Sponsored by FlexiFly. I think that car belongs to Will's dad, Ernie. I'm sure Ernie's usually out in that car. Must be feeling generous this weekend, letting Will have a go. But great to see. Going well this morning. Car 41 next. Tim Jones and Steve Pugh in their Mark II. Long-time navigator, Steve, and photographer. Just feathering that throttle. Is Tim just keeping that car balanced through the bends. Can hear the hard-charging Jeff Phelps, Colin Jenkins alongside in their Escort, coming into view anytime now. It's another of the Dave Jenkins cars. Dave's got a fleet of cars that he runs, and Jeff currently sits in 4th in class in this car in the W11 class. Wagging the tail on the Escort. And you can see why he does so well. Always an exciting drive. Just turn the page on the notes. Say I've had some help this weekend. Flicking back through the results to see if I've got anything. But yeah, I need to give a big shout out really to Dave Everson at the Pirelli Welsh Championship and his team. Dave sent me all the information over for the cruise this weekend, so it's really helpful that I've got this information in front of me. Let me know who's who, what's what. David Dobson, Brian Hodgson in their Mark II. Not only is Dave trying to run the championship, he's also helping out the live stream crew as well. So a massive thank you, Dave. Made my life a lot easier today. Helped me with all the information. It's great to see. So we should be looking towards something a little bit more modern now. This should be a 208 R2. You'll probably hear this coming. It's got a great engine note to it. This is Bradley Howlett and Nick van der Ven. Not quite as raspy as the usual engine note from a 208, I have to say. Goes well enough though. Competing in the W4 class. look, see if I've got any results through for anybody yet. Yeah, I've got some results now. Obviously, the results, it's difficult to sort of explain results when they're on reverse seeding. It's the father-son team of Dan Jones and Cyril Jones, showing some decent pace there, using all the road available to them. And their little Nova. Not too many of them knocking about. We were saying this on the Alaman last week. Not too many Novas knocking about anymore. Always nice to see one. So, let's have a little look. So, like I say, difficult to sort of give you any information really regarding the results. I can tell you that Freddie Camps had a stage time of 2:37, which is unbelievably quick. That can't be right, surely. Must be a timing error there. Sam Mason 3:06, Gordon Davies 3:08, Julian Burley 3:21, Jonathan Wally 3:22, Ben Davies 3:24, Gary Whitney 3:24, Jeremy Wells 3:30, Peter Jones 3:31, Adam Clews 3:33, John Connor 3:54.
So yeah, can't tell you too much about it at the minute. Obviously, we're reverse seeding.
There is our missing crew. So they have made it. That was car 43. Steve Benton and Ben Walsh. Not sounding particularly healthy, that car, I have to admit. It was struggling along. And just before they appeared, you saw Gareth Lewis, currently second in class. He has a good run this weekend, and everything goes to plan, then he could go top of the pops in the class. Sorry, this is Gareth Lewis. Who did I just miss then? Bradley Howlett, Vandermeer, yeah, just got that one. Was it Tony Williams and Emma Clark? We've had a Mark 1 come through in a different running order. I was just going through the entry list at the time and looking at the results, and I missed one of the cars. Apologies there if I missed one. But yeah, Gareth peddling the RS2000 well there. Currently second in class and could go top if they have a good result, so they'll be trying their best to do that. Car 34 then, that's Tony Williams and Emma Clark. So it's Emma's first championship event out. Daughter of Phil Clark. Sits in with Jason Pritchard. We'll see Jason through in around about 25 minutes time. Just a little message here.
The championship wanted me to mention this. So Tony in car 34 with Emma Clark is carrying stickers in memory of a rallying friend who was tragically killed in a road traffic accident recently. His name Warwick Baben, was 63 and was due to get married this coming month to Tracy. So just thoughts with Warwick's family and Tracy's family and the guys around that team at this tough time. Just something the organisers wanted me to give a shout out to, so more than happy to do that. It's always sad to hear the loss of somebody so close to the sport. Mark Holmes, Craig Simkiss. Dropping a cylinder by the sounds of it as he came up the hill here. It seems to have cleared itself a little bit in the distance now as it heads away, but yeah. Mark 1 Escort running the C3 class. Mark's got a variety of cars in the garage at home, including Ford Fiesta S2000s and Metro 6R4 as well.
Always sticks with the Escort on the gravel. So this should be a nice sight for us. Chevette HSR of Ben Jameson, Dean Kellett. Been getting faster and faster throughout the year in this Chevette. Lovely looking car, car 32. So next up, we're expecting the Squires twins. Phone is covered in dust. Can't see the screen.
Evans is watching, waiting for Blue Johnny.
Johnny Tad Evans with Andy Stokes this weekend. As always, on the gravel. They won't be far off us now. First of all, though, Philip McSquires, local voice to me, and their Escort Mark II in the very familiar looking colour scheme. Campaigning an Escort like that now for what feels like decades. I won't like me saying that.
Makes us all sound old.
Good morning from Beer in East Devonshire. There's a place called Beer. You know there's a place called Beer. Sounds like my kind of town. Morning James Watt, Neil Rosthern, Claire Wilkinson. Can't wait for my son and his driver to be back out rallying when their car is done. What car are they building, Claire? What's going on? What championships are going to be out in? Look forward to seeing that. Morning Sean. Sean Hughes is watching. Sean was out last time round on the Border Counties event, last gravel round. I was out on. There's Bob and Dale Gibbons in the RS 1600, another sick sounding car as well. It's a few cars not sounding quite right this weekend. Shame, first stage of the day. It's only a short one, so you never know, maybe get to the end of this one and sort the problem. But yeah, a few cars sounding a little bit rough. Edward James, morning, wish I was competing, looks great. Thank you along. Thank you very much, welcome along. Michael Crane, hi from the Isle of Man. Last weekend was a good one. Nice seeing the Escorts going around the Isle of Man. Certainly was. Speaking of Escorts, David and Douglas Young in their Mark II. It's the first time out in 2023 for David. It doesn't look like he's forgotten how to drive one, does it? It's certainly pedalling that well. Yeah, sorry to say it wasn't sounding the healthiest, that, Claire, after you waited all that time for them to come through. Now, next up, we should see a man who's, I think, making his return to the stages this weekend. I don't think I've seen Mr. Perez out for a long time. I know he's done some overseas rallying. Was he out on North Wales? I know Seb was, but this is Father Perez we're expecting next in the Mark II Escort. And Steve has got Craig Drew alongside. Many of you will know Craig from his antiques around the world. Right, okay. News just in then. Steve Perez is a non-starter and Seb Perez in car 13 has taken over the Ford Escort that Steve was going to drive. Okay, so we'll probably expect a gap now then. And the next one up should be Andrew. Before I get stung. Big B. Flying around my legs before I get stung and start screaming down the microphone. I'll try and get rid of him. There's plenty of flowers and things you can land on rather than my leg. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, just seeing that now. Thank you for your information. So Steve not making it out this weekend, but son Seb, we're taking over the Escort. So instead, we turn our attentions to car 27. This is Andrew Fox and Jamie Lee Fox in their BMW. And one of the comments here on my notes is consistent sideways pace. Oh, that's pretty accurate. Missed rally nuts. But back out for a play this weekend in car 27 in a 325 BMW. That's Andrew Fox and Jamie Lee Fox. Consistent sideways pace. I think that's pretty much spot on. Sums them up nicely. So second in class, Andrew Stokes and Johnny Tad Evans in their Mark 1 Escort are due through next, car 26. Another crew who like to drive sideways. We have brother Mike waiting for these guys. So Mike, expect to see them anytime now. It's World Bee Day today. Thanks, Jay. Full of inspirational knowledge as ever. There we go, sideways from Mr. Stokes. Great to see Andrew out. Flying the Stokes flag with Johnny Tad alongside.
So, next up, it's a Fiesta, and it's the Fiesta of Tony Simpson and Glyn Thomas. Tony's had a great start to the year so far, 2 maximum scores in class so far, he's showing great pace as well, so one to watch as he comes down the hill here into view. The nicely painted Seacon livery on the side of this Fiesta. Seacon UK are our special stage sponsors as well for the Seacon UK rally show that we produce every month. A little highlights package for all the events that you see us out on. All the action is brought into a magazine style package show that goes out once a month, and it's sponsored by Tony and the Seacon UK team, so big thank you to those guys. Like I say, Tony's got 2 maximum scores so far in the Pirelli Welsh Championship. Always shows a good pace. Always very consistent. It's very rare that Tony doesn't finish an event, to be fair. And if he does have a non-finish, it's almost always some sort of mechanical, but very rare does he not finish an event. Mike Tompkinson, Sean Whitehurst in the RS 1800 Mark II Fiesta, dancing their way through the stages. What a fantastic sight it is to see these cars coming into view down this section of stage. Nice open section, it's a photographer's dream. The guys down here on the outside of this bend will be getting some fantastic photos, no doubt, with all the gravel flicking up, dust plumes in the background. Look forward to seeing all these pictures after the event. See Mr. Lawrence down there, he'll be photographing some of the historic cars. With Ben alongside him. No doubt Ben will be teaching Paul how to take photos. Young Ben, up and coming photographer in the world of motorsport. It's a nice neat line from car 23, Jeremy Eaton. Classic colour scheme on the Mark 1. Mike Reynolds alongside. Just here in the distance, Jonathan Brace and Paul Spoon. RS 1600 being thrown between the trees. Coming into view anytime now. Currently leading the class, and another one of the Dave Jenkins cars out. So several cars out this weekend, so it'll be a busy weekend for Dave.
dust just hanging a little bit. Hopefully you can see Jonathan through the gloom. I say the gloom, it couldn't be any brighter really. But there we go. Jonathan Brace and Paul Spooner. So something we say every time on Special Stage, if you like what you see, please click on the notifications, hit the little bell, make sure you don't miss any live footage or any videos that we put out. You'll be notified every time we go live. You can also share the post and share the stream with all your friends and family, and let them see what you've been up to on a Saturday morning, whether you're out here competing or marshalling, or you just want to let them know that you've been watching us. That's a fantastic sight, isn't it? Ewan Roberts Jr. in the Escort G3. First season in the car, challenging Boyd Kershaw for the W11 class overall rights. Just watching the video back there, sideways all the way down that hill, and then throwing it through the right-hander at the bottom there. Fantastic commitment there from Ewan. So, Baz Jordan, Arwell Jenkins are up next in their Escort. Break into the top 20. These will be the 20 fastest two-wheel drive cars in the event. Jordan Road Surfacing, sponsored Baz Jordan, Arwell Jenkins Escort. Steam's up, thank you guys, great coverage. Watching from Berkshire, thank you for joining us. And Donald Proudlock is watching as well. Pleasure to have you along. Just starting to see all my little red splodges all over my body from where all these midges have been eating me. Even this rather wild pink tabard that I've got to wear is, I don't know whether that's attracting more midges. It's certainly not frightening them off anyway. Andrew Thomas, hello from Pembrokeshire. Thank you for joining us, Andrew. There's a nice little bump there on the way into this section. That's quick into this corner. Just got away with it. Ricky Crone, Ifan Divine. Ifan spent all of last weekend in a Mark II Escort. The Camillus Bradley prepared Escort of Berwyn Evans last weekend on the Isle of Man with us, having the time of his life in the sunshine, and this weekend he's now being thrown around the Welsh forests by Ricky Crone. Second time out this year for Ricky. Hanging the tail of that car right out on the limits. Just checking the edges of the road with them back tyres. Kevin Metcalf, Ian Jones should be up next for us in the E30. That's not an E30. It's a quick approach though. Really quick approach. Oh. Josh Carr. Apologies, I missed Josh off the list. I'm looking at the highlighted category cars. So Josh Carr, Richard Wardle in their Mark I Escort. We are pushing the boundaries of, well, of everything here. Grip and road width. At the minute, we are really trying these cars, really throwing themselves around this forest. Great to see. We'll make some spectacular footage when we look back at this afterwards. So this should be Kevin Metcalf, Ian Jones in the BMW E30. I can certainly hear the sound of the E30 coming towards us. a better line. Found some good pace this year as the crew.
Fully committed over the crest and around this
Right-hander. Kicking up the dust. Wow. Kicking up too much dust. William Elder, good morning. John Harper, Mark 1 being driven well. Certainly was, wasn't it? Enjoyed that. Unable to get out Marshall this weekend as I'm off to truck racing at Pembury. It's, well, second best, I suppose. Let's go with that. Second best. At least at the truck racing you can watch the special stage footage as well, so you get best of both worlds. Gavin Spencer's supposed to be cutting the grass this morning. He's having to hide in the shed so he can watch the rallying. I hope you're not going to get spotted in that shed. Just maintaining the chain on the lawnmower or something. Any excuse. Make sure you keep special stage on in the background. Put your headphones on. You'll be able to hear us taking you through all the action here today. The Plains Rally. So that was Mike Stewart and Dafford Evans in their Mark 1. You can certainly see the pace is just elevating itself now, can't you, as we approach the top 15 crews in the two-wheel drive category. Just shuffle the paperwork around again. I know it's a bit old school having paper. I have got the phone as well, but took the opportunity to get a print off of this that Dave Everson has done for me, and it just means that I can make any notes I need to on the paper copy. And obviously, with it being nice and sunny today, there's no need for it to be covered up in or on my phone and out the way of the rain and all that. Sat basket in the sunshine. Michael McDade, Declan Casey, Escort RS 1800. First event for the crew, and a crew that certainly will be in the mix as the event unfolds. They'll be pushing on hard. Class leading crew then up next of Boyd Kershaw and Keegan Rees. Currently lead the two-wheel drive standings in the Welsh Championship, as well as leading their class. Let's see how the Flying Kiwi tackles this bit of stage. Nicely done. Always a hard charger. Okay, next up should be previously mentioned Seb
Aaron McElhenney on the notes. They're down to be driving a
Porsche 911 RS, but pretty sure that they have swapped cars for today with Dad Steve. Be out in the Escort instead, and it certainly sounds like an Escort. It's a shame, really, because we do like seeing the Porsche, but maybe they feel they can get a little bit more out of the Escort. Here they come. Throwing it sideways. Nicely done. Famous number plate adorned on the front of the car. Able to see that on the cameras. That's to Seb. Used to be on his Micra when he was junior rallying back in the day. Swapped onto the Escort now. Franklin and Sons sponsorship across the front windscreen. So another shout out to our sponsors. We have Hockley Motorsport on the pacenot.com. Pirelli, the main title sponsor, who's been with the championship now for 10 years. Withams, that have come along as a sponsor as well. Motorsport UK, here for the ride, as they are with most of the rally championships in the UK. Ashmore's, and also Restruct as well. Big thank you to all you guys for all the efforts that you put into this. That was Rudy Lancaster and Guy Weaver. Our important plan for the weekend for these pair is to get some well-needed points on the board. Currently 4th in class, but looking to climb up that leaderboard in the G2 category. Next up should be car 11, Simon Webster and Jez Rogers. Welcome along, Dawn. Thank you for tuning in. Dawn joined us for almost all the action last weekend on the Manx Rally. Watching Mr. Roskell. Driver fine. Second on the event. So that was Simon Webster, Jez Rogers. Nicely done. No heroics from the pair. Just getting the job done. So down to the top 10. It's a top 10 which is littered with escorts, but towards the top end of the field we will see the stunning 131R Bath of Nick Elliott, and also car number 1 of Richard Tuthill is the 911, which will be amazing to see as well. Really push hard in that car. Setting the car up early for the corner then, car number 10, Adrian Hamilton. Seriously committed at the top of this hill there. Throwing it around this right-hander just as the car goes out of shot and the dust fills your screens. It's almost flat out around that right-hander. Adrian Hetherington.
Certainly one of the quickest so far.
I'm noticing as the cars come through more and more, the quicker and quicker the cars get, the more frequently I have to wipe the dust off my phone screen. It gives me a clue as to their pace. I can judge the pace of the cars just purely on the amount of dust on my phone screen. Third overall on Rally North Wales. Always shows good pace. Richard Jordan, James Grattan Smith. Stunning Mark II Escort RS 1800. Car prepper on the car for Richard. You can still hear this cuckoo in the distance over in the trees over there. Still going strong on the cuckoo.
Oh, they only did it once an hour.
Yeah, true. Yeah, cuckoos only do it once an hour. I suppose it depends on the clock. Well, fancy clocks that do it more than once an hour, I don't know. Ours is always once every hour. We digress while we wait, as I'm joined by a little bug on my notes here. A very furry looking little bug. Looks like he's got an afro, a little tiny fly with the length. Looks like he's got an afro. So we'll find out it's deadly. He eats me alive. So a little bit of a gap here. We're expecting Robert Goff through next with Paul Morris alongside, but there's definitely been at least a minute gap there. See who arrives next. That doesn't look to be Robert Goff's car. It isn't. It's a very tidy looking Mark II Escort, being driven by Tom Walster and Andrew Ruffhead alongside. Andrew out last weekend for Callum Black? No, he wasn't.
Neil Roscoe.
Of course he was. I was about to say that he was winning last week. It was the second. It was not far off. Dawn would have told me there. Dawn would have corrected me. Yeah, Andrew Ruffhead, of course he was. He was in with Neil Roscoe last weekend. Sitting in this weekend with Tom Walster. So no Robert Goff at the minute with Paul Morris. That's a shame. We'll keep an eye on that and find out what's going on. Might just be running slightly out of position. Let's not jump to conclusions just yet. This is definitely Roger Chilman. And Patrick Walsh dancing the Escort. Wow. Dancing the Escort through the stage. Patrick was pretty much sat in that ditch then. Right over the edge of the road. It's great to see. Roger always pushes on. 10 out of 10 for commitment from always from Mr. Chilman. Hopefully, next up we'll see Marty McCormack, Barney Mitchell. We haven't seen much of Martin this year. The events he's done, he's either retired before he's got to us or not made it to us to the event. So hopefully, stage 1 this time round, we should get to see them. The crew really like to pedal this Escort. Just watch this car control. That is stunning to see. What a shot that would have been. Fantastic to see the Irish crew heading over the pond to have a go in this sunshine this weekend. And enough of these Escorts already. Let's see something different. We want a 131R Bath. Let's see if Mr. Nick Elliott and Dave Price can give us what we want and see a sideways R Bath. Doesn't usually disappoint us, does Nick? Alitalia colours. Fantastic to see. Absolutely stunning car. So it looks like Robert Goff appears to be stopped back in the stage according to Mr. Steve Gregg. Thank you, Steve. You're watching the tracker maybe. It'll be a huge shame for Robert and Paul Morris alongside. We'll see if we can get hold of Paul shortly and find out what's gone on. But, not what we were hoping to hear this morning. So we're about to break into the top 3 then. These are the 3 quickest two-wheel drive cars this weekend. Jason Pritchard, Phil Clark due through next with Joe Price and Chris Brooks. And then leading the way, Richard Tuthill and Dale Furness in their 911. That bump on the inside is getting nasty. Missed out last weekend on the Isle of Man. Never didn't enter the event. It's been a while since we've not seen Jason compete on the Isle of Man, so it seems strange him not being there last weekend. But out this weekend with Phil Clark in the RS 1800 Escort. Always there or thereabouts when it comes to the win. The overall two-wheel drive classification. It's getting close to that cuckoo. It's definitely not an hour since the last time I heard it. And if you can quite hear it on the microphone. Joe Price, Chris Brooks.
Joe's car control is just phenomenal. The way he balances the car and sets the car up for bends. It's poetry in motion. So the last of our cars to come through in this first segment of live streaming for you this weekend. There'll be 4 sections altogether. This is the first, and this is the 2-wheel drive category. We will be cutting the stream after Mr. Richard Tuthill and Dale Furness have been through in their 911, and then we will be restarting again probably within the next 5 minutes or so, I would expect, and as we turn our attentions to the 4-wheel drive category and the R5 machinery of the current first overall in the championship, first overall in the class. Matthew Hurst and Mark Glenister. So there you have it. The Tuthill Porsche of Richard Tuthill and Dale Furness. Yeah, Jason was at a family wedding last weekend. So unfortunately, clashed with our man, so he couldn't make it. I think I'd have been making excuses. Can you get away with being ill and can't make it to a wedding? Bit obvious when it's on a live stream, I suppose. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to us, and thank you for watching the broadcast for the first section. Go get yourselves a cup of tea or a coffee, and be back with us very, very shortly for the 4-wheel drives. You won't want to miss it. Take
Soon here on Special Stage.